We are live. What is going on? Instagram Live. What up? Just waiting for you guys to get the notifications in here. And then we'll get started. Today's guest is a really good friend of mine called Carla. And she is from a company called Ames Global. It's going to be awesome. Me and my Owl City hoodie. What up? If you don't know, Owl City's I'm a really big fan of Owl City stuff. I love it. Hey guys, how's it going? Andrew, Renvi, Katoria, Tibbers, Jonathan Carabello. How's it go? Cool name, dude. Carabello. My man. Neurodivergent therapist joined. Blockcraft, how's it going? Andrew, how are you? ADHD. Got hair in front of my face. Have I got hair on me? I have no idea. ADHD-er. Yeah, man. ADHD-er. What up? I've been following you for a long time. I love your channel. Oh, thank you so much, dude. Hello, Dan. How are you doing? I have a bit autism DCD. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Hi, Dan. How's it going? I am good, thank you. Busy as ever. Big up, brother. Wagwan. Just trying to excuse me, just trying to change up some content on my channel as well, my YouTube channel. So if you guys don't know, I do run a YouTube channel called TheAspieWorld, just like it is on here, but just a bit more long form video. Give me a second here, guys. Right then. So I am waiting for my friend Carla. So Carla, the person I'm going to be talking to today is Carla Pretorius, who is Victoria. I can't remember if I'm saying her name right, but she's got her own channel on here as well. But she's like a neurodivergent therapist, which basically means that she has ADHD, and she is also a therapist. And actually, she's my therapist as well, which is amazing. And she's such a great woman. I'm gonna get her in here right now. My son is 9 and ADHD. Yeah, cool. Sounds awesome. Let me have a look here. If I can get Carla in here. Let's have a look. I'm an electro-techno love dispenser. Came from a Chinese tech inventor. Hello, Carla.
How are you, Dad?
Mate, I'm alright. It's evening time, so it's always a little bit more chill in the house at evening. You know, it's always go, go, go during the day, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a bit dark here. I don't know if this is okay, the lighting.
No, it's
This
fine.
is my first live, so
It's okay. I
welcome
can see you
to the live
perfect.
universe.
We'll have you as Zaid in the joint. How's it going? I can see you
Can you hear
perfectly.
me? Oh,
Yeah. Is
okay.
it? Can you hear me all right, Carla?
The
Are you
signal's on. Yeah,
okay? You got
I'm
me.
gonna op okay, cool. I'm just gonna open the door. Sometimes I need to let the internet into the room.
What? Yeah, you're letting the farts out of the room. Is what you're doing. Here. Hey,
Come on, come on, internet, come inside.
um, Flavia
Uh,
has said hello, and
Hi, Flavia. Hi, everyone. It's so lovely to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited for the chat.
oh yeah, as if as if I would have anybody else on my show. You know, Carla, come on.
I mean, it has taken us years to actually do this because we've known each other for quite a few years, and at last, now we're here.
Yeah, I know. I actually I wonder how long we've known each other for. I think probably I don't know. I'm gonna say
Hmm.
like 4 years, 5 years, maybe. I don't know, maybe longer, dude. Like it's been a while, right?
Yeah, I think I commented on a video because I'm really impressed with your content. So I
Uh,
was like, okay, this is awesome. I need to share this person more with my small universe of people. And then yeah, we met and you're an awesome person, like the people know that's here. So I think once you know Dan, you don't want to let go. So I think I became a friend by proxy. It's like kind of
no,
forced friendship.
Yeah, yeah, forced friendship. No, man, I think I can't remember our first interaction or whatever, but I know we've been just like hanging out ever since. It's been dope. Um, but yeah, one should have done it. Go. Do you know what's funny? You know, I was doing this. We did this autism social summit in Canada, which you should have been there, but we couldn't get the
Mhm.
visa sorted out. It was a whole nightmare. Anyway, regardless of the negative, one of the most interesting things was that everybody who met me said that I was the same in real life as I am on camera or in my persona, right? Which is a good thing.
It's a
I
good
I hope.
sign.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
because
it's a
like
good sign. From a therapist, I'm saying that's good.
yeah, it like it just made me like I feel like you know it made other people realize that I am genuine, you know, because
Mm,
I feel like a lot of influencers or people who are just like, you know, especially people like I'm a YouTuber, I drive a Tesla and all this nonsense. Like they can just be full of themselves, right? So it's nice to know that people were like, no, it's genuinely that. But anyway, authentic. There you go. Oh, it's Natasha. She was there. She's one of the people who said it. Actually, there you
Oh,
go.
that's awesome. I think it's also like it's a sign that you're really aware of who you are and you're proud of who you are. And that's what I kind of, I really want my clients to learn how to really love themselves. Like that's one of the biggest things because as a neurodivergent person myself, that's something that we really struggle with is to be okay with our quirks.
100%.
So I think it's awesome that you can showcase that to your clients and your people.
Dude, you hit the nail on the head, right? And I'll get into a tiny little bit intro with you now, but like in terms of just saying that, you know, like a lot of people say like, oh, how do you do these things? I just go, you know, just because I am who I am, and if they don't like it, then it's their issue, right? Like I don't really care.
Exactly.
Like I literally like I live by those tenets of thinking to myself like, if I don't impress somebody, I don't really care because like it's nothing to it's not my problem, it's their problem. Anyway, but I am who I am, and that's kind of it. Yes. So, Carla, so people don't know who you are. Do you want to kind of give a
Mm.
little bit of a um, uh,
Yes. Let me do an introduction. Yeah. Sorry, there's like a little bit of a delay, but let me just do a quick introduction. So I've been in the field of neurodiversity now for 20 years. It really is my life and my passion. Absolutely love what I do. I love learning from my clients. I am a registered therapist and I'm busy with my PhD now here in Portugal too. And my PhD thesis is actually on decreasing anxiety and increasing confidence through a five-step process. And one of the first step is actually self-awareness. So that really is what I'm focusing on at the moment. I see private clients, I do group therapy, I support people in their work environment as well. I actually just I love everything about this field. So if I could work and not sleep, I would definitely not sleep. Yeah.
dude? That's me. Like, if I could work and not sleep, I would definitely just work. Yeah, that's
Okay,
100%.
hold on. But I am telling you all the time that you also need to take
It
rest, right? Because there's a
is
lot of
true.
people that need you. So 10x the sleep as well when you need to.
Yeah, like everybody loves my 10x attitude, right? I'm gonna write like a book on 10xing, right? Like I got to do this, man. I have to. You say you staying hydrated with some water, done? Yes, I am. Look at this, Josh.
That's important. Well done. Good question. Good
Mm.
question.
Shout out to anybody watching who's not drinking water right now. Actually, I'm supposed to be held accountable for getting, you know, my people to drink water, but I always forget myself. Anyway, it's hard to
Awesome.
remember to drink water when you're trying to remember everything else in the entire universe. So thanks for the big shout out. Um, right, hold
That's
on. Dan sounding
that's
quite deep for
that's
anyone else.
awesome that you're using accountability buddies. That's actually a really good strategy to use.
Yeah, you're my accountability buddy. But yes,
Good.
I have this. Oh, give me 1 second. People are saying that my voice kind of my voice gets really low on this sometimes. I don't know what's going on my Instagram, but it happens quite often. But
Okay.
yeah, deep voice again. Whatever. Anyway, so Carla, talking about this. Talking about one of the steps you were saying then about this whole anxiety and confidence thing. One of
Mm.
the steps was the first step. I think you said was
Self-awareness.
self
So
work.
yeah, there's a lot of steps that starts with the word self, but really it is a focus on yourself, right? So self-awareness is the first step, and I do a lot of sensory profiling, communication profile, conflict resolution in that step. but it's not linear. So we don't really go from step 1 to 5. We can go back and forth.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I start with really getting to know who you are, and then the second step is self-discovery. So we learn a lot about those different profiles. And then we do regulation, right? So that's when you learn how to self-regulate. So if your sensory profile is quite heightened, which a lot of neurodivergent individuals are,
Mm-hmm.
mine included. So I'm very sensitive to sounds, random internet entering the room. I'm joking.
Walking in because the door's
Yeah,
open.
exactly. Hello, I'm here.
I have the internet.
It's just behind physics. Um, Anyways, internet's always loud. And then, like after that, it really is self-love and acceptance. And then the fifth step, which again is not linear, but is self-advocacy. So where you can stand up for yourself and say, look, I need a quiet environment. If you are going to even do something nice, like offer me a cup of coffee, my partner knows this. He needs to kind of check that I'm not in sessions. He knows my schedule. He needs to kind of like make sure that it's okay to ask me if I want a cup of coffee, or if he can ask me to
Yeah.
if I want something. So it's like I'm very specific, and I'm okay with it because I've got that self-love and acceptance. So I can be my own advocate. And that's what I want for my clients for them to know that it's okay.
Yeah. I think, what's funny is that human beings are complex people in general, right? So we have complex needs. Yet the neurodivergent human is even more complex, right? So like you said, there's very specific things. There's all kinds of stuff that like you have to kind of know somebody to be able to kind of really advocate for them in a certain way, right? And I think that's really interesting. And a lot of people, and I know from experience, if one of the like the people they live with aren't neurodivergent, right, and they don't really understand them, don't really get them, you can get this like massive like
Tricky.
tension or negative.
Yeah.
So it is really interesting, and you have to really know a person on the spectrum. Like you have to really get to know them and want to know them as well. And I think that's really interesting because the steps to confidence, I would say like 90% of it is self-development, but then there's 10% of it which is uh, the um, the feedback you get from the environment you're in, right? Like if you're in the wrong
Yeah.
environment, you're never going to progress more than the 90% that you can put in, right?
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry, you were saying?
On that note, yeah, it's definitely very important to surround yourself. I actually had a client earlier that was saying she might actually be on here, but she was saying that it's so difficult for her to explain to people that just don't get it, and she feels like she's constantly saying the same thing and not being validated for her own needs, right? Her own sensitivities. And that's why it's so important for us to surround ourselves with those individuals that are not going to question, like, why are you sensitive to these things or these specific ways of communicating? Why is that important to you? It is just that important to us. So we need to kind of just focus on, first of all, to find the tribe that really understands us and accepts us, and then we can expand our circles if we want. We don't need 100 friends. We can
Yeah.
find two that really understand us.
I like have no friends. I literally have no friends, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, well,
Oh,
no, I have you. But like,
yeah, we're friends.
we're having this conversation
We
today.
have each other.
Yeah. And Boris, where is he? I don't know. Don't say
He's
the B word.
there.
Yeah.
He's always there. Wait,
Oh,
let me show you. There he is.
Randy's. Oh yeah, Randy's downstairs. He's passed out. He passed out ages ago. Um, So I was going to say something on that note, which is really interesting. I always remember, I listen to all these like life gurus and these people who kind of like business gurus, right? They always say like, if you're the
Yeah,
smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? Which is
yeah.
so true.
That's a
And it kind
nice
of goes
thing.
along with that kind of find your tribe to catch your vibe or whatever it is, or your vibe attracts your tribe. And it comes down to something that I read in a book by, it was a book called How to Think Like Einstein. And in the book, Albert Einstein was, because it's basically loads of quotes from Albert Einstein of how he did stuff. And somebody said to him, like, why, how do you keep yourself so clever, blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, look, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so if you
Yeah.
hang around with losers all the time, what are you going to be, right? So Einstein said, look, 50% of my intellect comes from the fact that my brain and everything is wired that way. So I'm 50% of me. But 50% of it comes from the fact that I hang around with people who are super clever and geniuses, and I like
Mm,
absorb their stuff, right?
yeah. There's a really nice Afrikaans saying, because I'm Afrikaans, that says meng met die semels en die varke sal jy eet, which means like if you're gonna mix with people, I know it's a very strange language, but if you're gonna mix with not so great people, then you kind of become those people. It kind of seeps into you. But if you are surrounding yourself with people that are inspiring to you, then you know that's what you're gonna become because you learn from them, you model from them, and yeah, it's important the friends that you choose, the partner that you choose, and knowing that if you're from a family that isn't that supportive, that you know you can also create your own family with individuals that are that supportive, that are that loving and provide you unconditional love. And like somebody said, yeah, you only need a good few. You don't need 100 friends. You know, that's a lot of times super overwhelming for us that mask a lot.
Jeez, yeah. I don't think I can't. I could barely like if I have if I have more than 5 people to respond to. I mean, that's a lot, right?
Yeah,
Social
no, it's
circle, right?
stressful.
I mean, who the hell has like 100 friends? Anyway,
But
but no, you're absolutely right, and I think and
oh, there
you,
you are.
yeah, sorry, man, did it glitch? Is the internet in the room with
I
us
think
now?
so. I think the internet just left. You can come back now, internet. Oh, it's coming back.
Oh my god, that's so funny, dude. Um, okay, so tell us like why pick like confidence and anxiety to do the things for your PhD? What is it about confidence? Like, why did you choose that?
I think it's just the thing that almost, I mean, I can't say every single client of mine, right? But I can say to you that the majority of my clients struggle with confidence, and they struggle with a lot of managing a lot of anxiety, and me included. So ever since, you know, like when I received my diagnosis of ADHD in my 30s, I look back to when I was a kid, I struggled a lot with anxiety, and how I dealt with it was maybe when I was younger, 14, 15, I would drink, you know, maybe a bit older. Maybe I shouldn't have said that so early, but you know, like I would choose alcohol because that was a great masking technique. Or I would be like the funny person in the room or something. There was always something that covered the true me. It was either humor or alcohol or, you know, like a lot of
Yeah.
friends with a lot of masking techniques. And I think if I could go back now, I would just tell that person that whoever you are, that's perfect. You don't need to be this person that everybody laughs at or everybody
So
finds smart or funny or
yeah,
you know whatever
yeah,
perfect.
you're fine as you are.
So exactly. So that's the confidence part and the anxiety. And throughout my life, I saw this even with my clients, like now 20 years doing this, right? It's always confidence that's lacking. And a lot of times when they just have that one mentor, I do a lot of going out in public with my clients when I saw a lot of people one on one still
Hmm.
before COVID.
Hmm.
I would go with them to like coffee shops and we would go and do interviews together or whatever, just to have that person that believes in them. I was sharing something from Simon Sinek earlier this week, or I don't even know what day it is, but he was saying that you just need one person that says to you that I've got your back, but then that same person says to you that even if you fall, I will be there for you. But that person will also tell you if you're screwing up. And that is, I think, the perfect explanation of a great mentor is to say to you, I'm going to be there no matter what. But if you screw up, I'll try and guide you back. And I think if you can find a therapist like that or a mentor or somebody that's got your back and that's really like your cheerleader there for you, but also tells you when you need to pick it up, that's gold. I mean, that's what any person I think would love.
100%. I think that's like the ultimate kind of like friendship, I suppose, but it's not really.
Mm.
It's more than that, right? Well, hey, Matt, how's it going? Sorry, Matt Recklebum just joined. Crazy guy was texting me. I'm like, dude, I'm on a live. Leave me alone. And he's like, I'm gonna come on and talk about your personal man stuff. Anyway, it's true. You know, it's funny. You know, we would say, and I feel like a lot of people, especially neurodivergent people, will overthink things, right? Like, so we overthink things like,
Mm.
dude, like I overthink
Everything.
everything, like
Uh,
everything.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and what's funny about it is I just released a TikTok video and an Instagram reel literally about an hour ago. The Stephen Chan problem. Did you see this video I put
Yeah.
up?
Yes, I did. I was watching all your videos before. I was like, am I late? I'm just gonna continue watching videos because I'm
Uh,
anxious now. Yes, I did
sorry,
watch it.
but it's so true. Like, and so the premise
Uh,
was that basically, me and Stephen Chan, he was way more intellectual than me. It's electronics. I wasn't, but I had to do the class because it was the only thing I was interested in that I could pick, right? And it was so simple. The task was make something that works. And what I didn't say in the video is that when at the end of the course, when I was presenting my piece of equipment, that was just this really simple like light effective diode.
mm,
Mine worked. Stephen Chan hadn't even finished his. He couldn't even present something that you could even turn on. It was just
it's
a
too
sting. Just
complicated.
yeah, and he's like a real guy. Like I think I have him
Yeah.
on Facebook. He's gonna like punch me or something. But at the end of the day, I always use this when I look at because I go through life like trying to look and I do all these things. Like everything gets overcomplicated. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Am I turning into Stephen Chan here? Like what is going
Mm.
on, right? And I always refer back to it. The poor guy. His ears must be burning constantly because I'm like, this is Stephen Chan problem. They,
He probably knows it. I mean, he watches the videos and he's like, look, I'm a billionaire now. That's the complicated thing.
dude, I would, I, I don't know, man. Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know if
You're
Stephen was his
you're
real.
searching for him now, aren't you?
Honestly, like, I don't even know. Like, wait, I just typed in Stephen Chan and it's like Doctor Stephen Chan. I'm like, oh,
Exactly. This is
oh,
what I'm telling you, right? It's,
oh my God, is that him?
uh,
Jeez.
why is
Anyway,
this? It's lagging a bit here.
oh man, it is a bit. I'm so sorry. I don't know if it's your connection or mine.
Right
Um,
there.
okay, cool. Yeah. So this, and I have a second one as well. So this is kind of like if life's getting too complicated and too crazy and you want to bring it back down and not become Stephen Chan, how do you do it? And I go down to the caveman algorithm, which is another system of mine, right? Which is, I told you this, right? Where I go, would a caveman need this to survive? And if the answer is no, forget about it. And the only,
Mm, good one.
yeah.
This is this is mine. I don't know if you can see this. Can
Oh,
you
I
see
see
this?
it.
Can you read?
Not my circus, not my monkey. The fuck is that? What? I,
Okay, so whenever I overthink things and I'm like, oh, I should have said this, could have said this, maybe they thought I meant this and I didn't mean it like that, and so on. I just like, not my circus, not my monkeys. It's, and usually that works because I start thinking about monkeys and monkeys are cute, and then you get distracted because you've got ADHD, and I'm like, ah, monkeys, cute, Boris looks like a monkey, let's go for a walk. And then all of a sudden, he didn't hear that, did
oh
he?
my
No. And all of
God.
a sudden, then oh no, then I don't think about
The
the
issue.
thing that I was overthinking about or hyperfixating about, so I can just get out of my own head. Because 99%, and I know this is not statistically, but 99% of the time, it's not going to be as big of a deal
Yeah,
as we think it is.
100%. And
No,
and
99%.
and that's the problem. Like we do overthink things, and we also then just think that the things that we've overthought, like it's factual. Like that's it. It has to
Exactly.
be this. Like I get inside my own head
Concrete.
too much, right? And then like, and I think that's probably not just my issue, but most people on the autism spectrum, like they get inside their own head too much, and they're like, it becomes a
Yeah.
thing, right? It's like not like it's I don't know. Anyway, but yes,
And
the
then
overcomplex.
the anxiety increases, right? And that's like your question about confidence and anxiety. That's like, then our anxiety spikes so hectic that we believe that everything is screwed. Like it's very black and white. This person's never going to speak to us. They probably hate us. And this person, if you do a social experiment and you actually check in with that
Yeah,
person,
yeah,
which I often try with my clients, I'm like, okay, let's actually do an experiment. Let's see what they think.
yeah,
Most of the time, this person has no idea what we're talking
yeah.
about.
100%.
They're like, well, I don't even know what conversation you're
Yeah,
referring
like
to.
what on earth are you
So,
what are you
yeah, exactly. But it's sad because we lose so much energy on focusing on that, right? So we're losing so much of our precious energy that we can actually hyperfixate on our interest and, come up with the next billion-dollar idea, I
yeah,
guess.
or like sending people to Mars or whatever. But like,
Exactly, or that.
You know, it's funny what you talk about anxiety. I was doing a talk for some charity in Wales a couple of weeks ago, and I was driving down. I had to drive for fucking 4.5 hours. I think I remember telling you about it. Right? It's like drive
Yeah,
four and
it
a
is.
half hours to like South Wales and a place called Cwmbran or
Yeah.
Pontypool, which is more popular now. Anyway, so I drove down to this talk, and this woman was talking about anxiety. She was like, "Oh, how do you systematically, you know, understand anxiety so you can attack it?" I said, "Look, anxiety is a beast, right? Like there's very few things that like I can do to help reduce my anxiety. There are a couple of things, um, but in terms of anxiety in general, right? So like I always say to people like, well, let's compute it, right? If we compute everything back to its original source, and we should be able to find out how we can maybe avoid it rather than try and get rid of it. We can avoid it."
Mm,
And they were like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Okay." And it comes from two ways that I kind of look at things, right? And I think I told you this as well. Anxiety is a byproduct of fear. Fear is a byproduct of worry, and worry is a byproduct of not of thinking that something is a problem, not a potential towards a solution. So if we think about problems as potentials towards solutions, then the other bits and pieces fizzle away. But people get fixated on this.
mm,
There's a problem. I have this thing. There's an issue that's wrong. It's like, no, there's an issue, but it actually it's potential towards being not an issue. Um,
mm,
and I think that is like that's so interesting because if you can get your head around that, like
mm.
specifically to think about it, thinking, okay, am I looking at an issue or potential to solve the issue, then you haven't got time to think about anxiety, worry, or fear because everything else just like you
Mm.
start working on that thing, right? Which is
And
interesting.
yeah, and it is interesting, and it's also what we're good at. So if you give us a problem, we can solve it, right? So we just need to kind of change the way that we frame it to ourselves, and that's the CBT technique, is like reframing what we're actually worrying about. So if we're saying, "Oh, this person probably thinks that I suck," maybe a reframing can be, "Maybe this person misunderstood me. I can help them
Yeah,
out."
yeah,
So and that makes all the difference. It doesn't sound that hectic. It sounds quite nice. You're gonna speak to the person again. You'll help them out. You're gonna let them understand who you are. So yes, definitely. But opening up is a big thing. So for you, it's easier because you've done it and you've helped so many people. I think a lot of my clients struggle with that part where they're like, before we even start talking, just to have that conversation with a person. So I would highly suggest whoever's listening um, to this now to just voice those concerns with somebody that you trust,
mm.
because as soon as you air it, then you've got
There's power.
exactly, you get the power again, because now you're like, okay, well, this is the thing, so now I can reframe it, now I can actually move it around, now I can restructure it, now I can make it digestible for myself. But if you keep it inside, it's like a dark room. Like, this room is pretty dark actually, but it's like a dark room that you never let air in.
Yeah,
It becomes this like monster in this dark room,
manifesting.
like this little dirty little secret in the corner, and
What?
then it becomes like this whole dirty room. Okay, that's like, I
Oh
need
my
to stop
god.
now. I need to stop, right? Okay, sorry. Dark room. That's what I
Yeah.
meant. Let's talk about something else.
Okay. No, I get what you're saying. Do you know what's funny? Because I always say it, and a lot of my training, like I do a lot of like online courses and like kind of coaching programs. And one of the things I always say is like a problem shared is a problem halved, and that holds so much weight. It's
Mm,
unbelievable. Just having
exactly.
somebody listen to you and go, "Yeah, I think
Mm,
you're right." You're like
yeah.
just blows you away. Which is really funny. I was going to say something on this then, since you're talking about dark rooms of secrets. Um, um, oh, damn it! I was going to say something really interesting. Oh my god, I can't.
Retrace
I
your steps. Go
know we were.
back with the hair or
I
something, and then you'll
know. I'm
get it.
just my head. Oh, my
Scratch
hair's.
your head
Like,
again.
I know. I was like,
Uh,
no. We were talking
uh,
about
mm.
anxiety problems. There was something quite profound that I was going to say. Oh,
Okay, well, I'll keep on talking, and then you
cool.
think about it, right?
All
So
right.
with anxiety, though, I think the one thing that we need to also remember is that it's not something that we want to be gone. Like, we want, so anxiety is part of who we are. It's a necessary response. When there's a line, I'm from South Africa, so if there's a line behind you, which doesn't happen, by the way, in South Africa,
I bet it
but
does.
if you jump into the zoo cage and there's a lion behind you, you want to be anxious and run away, right? So there are some times that you really need a lot of anxiety. The only thing that we need to learn is how to not have chronic stress,
Mm,
and chronic anxiety. So we want to learn how to manage that, which is definitely possible. So the therapeutic modalities that I recommend is some behavioral strategies, so some DBT skills, which is dialectical behavioral therapy. Some CBT skills are really helpful too, cognitive behavioral therapy skills, and then combine that with mindfulness techniques, which is truly crucial. I don't even know if you say truly and crucial together, but it's important. And then the third part is that positive feedback from a mentor or from somebody that you trust, or even if you don't have that person yet, to have that within yourself. So if you do something good, like creating a healthy habit, to reinforce yourself, to like say to yourself, I'm proud of myself for doing this. So it's really important, those elements I found, and that's also part of my thesis at the moment. So hopefully it is successful, but I've seen it work in my own life and I've seen it work with my clients. So I would highly recommend focusing on those three elements, just so that some people listening to this have something tangible that they can take from this conversation.
100%. You know, on that same line, a lot like I change like not habits, but like I implement life changes quite often, right? And I'm quite strict on myself. And how I did it, the first time I ever did it, is I gave up drinking alcohol about almost 16 years ago. And when I first was like, oh, you know, I'm not going to drink alcohol anymore. Yes, I'm that old. When I was like, oh, I'm not going to drink alcohol anymore, I was like, that's it, no alcohol anymore. And then I just couldn't do it. I was just like, you know, your friends invite you to a party, and or like, you know, my bandmates, and because being in a band, you know, everybody bloody drinks, don't they? And then so you go to this party, and then you have to then, because I needed to socialize, otherwise I'd just be like an anxious mess. Anyway, how I overcame it, and I got rid of it, was rather than set like excessive like pressure on myself, again, not Stephen Channing it, right? I was like, let's just do it really simple. Why don't I just have a bet with myself that like, okay, I bet I can go like 3 days without drinking alcohol, right? I go a week without drinking alcohol. I can go a month, right? And you just keep going. See how long and now it's like, see how long I can go without drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
So I'm at a point when I'm like, still, like, I never say like, oh, I quit alcohol, but like, I'm at a point where I'm like, how can I go? You know, I'm on year 16. How long can I go without drinking alcohol? And when you break it down to small pieces of like small gamification like that, it becomes way more manageable.
Yeah, that's awesome. And using your characteristics to your advantage is also something that I think could help there. Because, okay, so maybe it wasn't an addiction thing with you, but a lot of my clients do have addictions. I myself was addicted to nicotine. So I smoked cigarettes since I was 16, and I was a tennis player, hey? So I don't know how I did this, but my tennis coach, if she ever sees this, or she'll know now. Anyways, I was on a scholarship in American tennis, and I just smoked throughout. Because it helped my anxiety for short term gains, right? Not long term. And then one morning I was just like, it's it, I'm done. My partner was like, okay, what? Like, are you sure this is an important week? Are you sure you're gonna stop right now? I'm like, yes, I'm finished. And that's when we can use our
Yeah.
characteristics, our symptoms, you know, our inhibition control, whatever, our quick responses, my quick reactions to our advantage. Because I'm just like, nah, screw it, I'm done. And I just told myself I'm not a smoker anymore, and that's it. And it was fine. And kind of like that strategy that you're also using, like pushing yourself short term wise, just like, okay, well, I'm gonna go see my friend who's a smoker and see if I can sustain that. And also that mind shift, it's not that hard. I think, I don't know if you found this with alcohol, but just telling yourself you can do this. Like
Yeah.
it's okay, you can get
Yeah.
through this.
I mean, because it isn't like, again, when you don't Stephen Chan it's not a big deal. Like, it's just like, okay, well, it's a bit of a drink, you puss. You know, it's not
Yeah.
like it's nothing. It's not like it's not life and death. Well, it could become life and death, but at the time, those things like nicotine, like those small addictions that you have, they're not like they're not like, it's not like you're turning on or off a light switch. You know, it's these small gradual changes, and I think that it's all about the compound effect, right? I think it was Warren Buffett or one of the big gurus. I was either Warren Buffett or Jeffrey Bezos, that said the only way to really succeed in anything is to do a compound effect over a long period of time, and then you'll see the result, right? So it's not like too long. Sorry, too many of us will think in the short term, thinking I have to do this right now to make changing right now. By next week, I'm going to be completely smoke free and alcohol free. It's never going to happen. You go, okay, where do I want to see myself in 3 to 5 years? Well, I want to see myself as being sober, a non-smoker. Let's go.
Mm.
And it's the small changes you do over a period of time that compound into that eventual thing. Like I said, 16 years later, I'm like, okay, cool, no alcohol,
Mm.
it's awesome. So, drug
Nice.
free.
That's an awesome achievement there. I would be very proud of myself. I still enjoy my wine. Oh,
Yeah, I know,
I
but
gotta
like,
I
I
gotta go
got this after 5 years. I got this. This is a straight edge, right? So
straight edge.
I detoxed all drugs and alcohol from my life, and all drugs. It was like caffeine. This last 12 months. No, no, no. Should I? Yeah. The last 12 months is the first time I had to introduce caffeine into my diet again,
Sure.
because I felt like it was the right time. But
Yeah.
like, I don't take any kind of like, if I'm sick, I'll just like grin and bear it. Like I don't try and take any medicine in case unless I have to. Like when I had COVID and I was in hospital, I had to like morphine, but like other than those extreme cases, I really don't like try to. Um, I don't know. Like I just feel like those are toxins, right? Those things, and like I was saying
Mm.
this as well. Like and to me though, toxins come from many factors in life, right? It could be like I think pornography is ridiculous. I think it's stupid. I think it poisons the mind. Again, that could be one of those drug toxins, right? Um,
Mm.
even down to like watching TV endlessly. Like people like watch like they base their life around television. I'm like, whoa, like I can't do that stuff because to me that's
Yeah.
like a toxin that you have to get rid of. But it could just be me being paranoid.
I
Anyway.
think I think that it's important to also mention that, because I'm saying this like as if it was the easiest thing. I smoked since I was 16, and I'm not even gonna say my age now, but I'm a lot older, and it took a lot of years for me to get to this point, right, where I'm like, okay, you know what, screw it, I'm done.
Mm.
And I'm hyper fixating on work, which I don't think is always the most healthiest thing, right?
That's all I do.
So exactly, like I know we're very similar in that regard, but I think it's important to know that it's okay to sometimes ask for help.
Yes.
I'm more than happy to chat to anyone that that wants to quit smoking or wants to stop with any addiction. I will try and provide strategies. Again, it doesn't always work the same for every person. So sometimes people need to read that book from Alan Carr that really helps. That helped my partner.
That's crazy
Um,
good, isn't it?
yeah, so I've never read it,
My
luckily.
my brother used it. It was really
I
good.
needed. Yeah, but I mean, different things work for different people, and I think it's just important to know that it's also okay to. I'm not saying like, oh, if you're smoking, that's so bad. Again, I did it for 20 something years.
Yeah, and
So,
you can get addicted to anything as well, right? Like
exactly,
even fucking buying Lego.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like there's no. It doesn't have to be a drug. It's a drug to you, right?
yeah,
Which is why I don't like I think gambling is like really really bad as well because gambling is another one of those slippery slopes, right? And the only person that wins is the bookies, so it's like it's pointless, right? But
mm,
but I think it's interesting because on this topic as well. I know we kind of digressed a little bit, but I think that like um, it's a worthy digression because a lot of people on the spectrum will have addictive personalities, right? Because we're looking to smash dopamine all the time, so
exactly,
it could be anything: drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, whatever it is, right?
yeah,
And that I think is one of the most interesting things about people on the spectrum because they just become upset and it becomes special interest then, right? Your obsession
mm,
of kind of like uh, what do they call it, like addiction becomes like a special interest. Like it's
mm.
crazy. um,
And then how to work through that. So the first thing I would say is to not be so hard on yourself, because I know, like, again, we just spoke about like, oh, yo, I stopped smoking, but it's not the end of the world, right? It's not like uh, us neurodivergent folk are very, very intense about ourselves. So we're criticizing constantly. So first of all, I would say try to let go of that criticism. Again, like we said earlier, try and air that conversation, have that conversations with somebody that you trust and say, maybe, look, I'm thinking about doing this less, or I'm thinking about changing this habit, or whatever.
mhm.
And with somebody that's not going to make you feel ashamed, because that's another thing. And especially if I'm looking at, I know this is generalizing, but if I'm looking at the female profiles, there's a lot of shame that comes with a lot of the things, like even just, you know, not having enough friends, having not having the same amount of likes and interest as other people,
Mm-hmm.
or you know, different ones or whatever. There's so much shame. So I would try to say to yourself, like, whatever you're doing is fine. Let's work on it if you want to work on it and if you're ready to work on it. So again, I just want to steer away from, oh, I'm so great because I quit smoking, because
Yeah,
there's like,
but
I'm
not.
overworking, you know. Is that better?
Yeah, exactly. Like what? Yeah, which is the lesser of the two evils? I don't know, but they're probably. Yeah, there is no right and wrong with that, really, right? It's a personal thing, and it's an individual
Mm,
thing. Um, anyway, what I was going to say was that um, as a therapist, like people, there's questions coming in from people, and I just
yeah.
would say that, like, if people were interested in learning more, maybe having some therapy with you, how can they go about doing that? How can they find you and stuff?
So I just started, like, you know, I just started this Instagram page, so they can find me there. They can definitely send me a message, or they can go to my website, which is my name and surname.com, so carlapretorius.com. I did see one question. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read that far. But I did see one question about how to stop panic attacks
Okay.
from happening. And I think that's a really important question just to address, just so that we have, you know, address some of those really important all of the questions are important. But I would say I had a client today actually that I was speaking about panic attacks. And one of the things is that definitely to know what are your triggers, but to know in which kind of state you're in. So I had a guest on when I was speaking, I do interviews, right? And one of my guests spoke about the three brain states. And she was talking about, her name is Shanna, and she was talking about the the survival state, the emotional state, and the executive state that your brain goes in. So if you're in survival mode, your brain is asking, are you safe? If you're in emotional state,
Mm,
your brain is asking, am I loved? And if you're in executive state, your brain is asking, what can I learn from this? So before we work on panic attacks and anxiety attacks, we just need to make sure that we're in executive state, our brain. So we're calm, we know we're safe, we know we're loved, and then we
mm,
put in strategies. So one of the strategies that I have, because I've got anxiety and I was diagnosed with it, I've got like little white flags. It's downstairs, quite a few that I printed. And every time I feel there's that wave of emotions, I look for my strategy. I look for a visual that is like a little white flag. And that white flag tells me it's like, okay, peace, calm,
mm,
serenity, go for
mm,
a walk, you know. So that's like a visual reminder immediately. I have a lot of visuals all over my house. Like one of this one says breathe out. I do a lot of breath work. We need to include these strategies before we become overwhelmed, but then as we are overwhelmed, then breath work isn't going to really work when we're in a panic or
yeah,
when
yeah.
we have an anxiety attack, right? That's when we just want to kind of like shelter and keep safe. And if you notice those visuals before the panic attack happens, then you can go for the walk, you can do your breath work, you can play with your animals. Like those are all things that help me. But it's really important to put those strategies in place when you're in a calm state. So if that person, whoever messaged the really good question about panic
But
attacks, they can message me anytime, yeah, and I can
yeah,
try and help.
absolutely. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Because like when you're in a stable datum, when you're like grounded, and you're like, okay, now I need to put things in place to help me when I get to that point, right? And I
Yeah,
think that's really interesting because that's basically what you do in therapy, isn't it? Like when you speak to a therapist, you and your therapist sit down, you'll come through to strategies when you're not in a heightened state of
so,
a mental state when
yeah.
you're having your therapy. Um, and and also, I think that a lot of people are way too hard on themselves with
Mm.
things. And it's the last thing I'll say before kind of wrapping all this up and asking you for a final thought. Jerry's final thought, Jerry Springer. Um, those are the
It's not my cousin.
days. The DNA test results that she called you. And yeah, so Jerry Springer was like, Jerry's like, what are they calling my name for? I was like, we should do a
Now
show.
we're giving
Yeah,
now we're giving our age away,
I know, I know.
right?
I
It's
was
like,
just,
who's Jerry Springer? Nobody knows.
have you seen Jerry Springer the musical? If not, watch it. It's
No,
insanely
please.
good.
When? Where?
You can get it. It's like on video. You can like watch it. Like it's a video. Like just Google it. You'll find it. It's
Okay,
incredible.
that's what I'm doing tonight.
No, like I was so impressed. I bought it from Poundland, right? It was like £1 for a DVD back in the day. I thought, yeah, whatever. So I bought it for £1 just to laugh at it, and I watched it. It was surprisingly fantastic. Like, well, it's very, very well done. It's not what you think.
Okay.
Anyway,
Is it okay? Sorry.
no,
Okay.
it's
Focus.
okay. I think there's two things. One is that something I learned very recently is that I was able to forgive everybody for doing stupid things. Like if somebody like was an asshole to me before, I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, that's it, I forgive them. You know, and people, acquaintances who've done something to me, but even stolen money. Maybe I've been in a fist fight. You know, maybe they stole a girlfriend, all this kind of rubbish. And I forgive them. You know, I'll be like, yeah, okay, you know, they're humans. They're a spiritual being having a human experience. That's how I see things, right? And so I was like, but I never took the time to allow myself that same grace. I was like, no, I'm a hard ass. You know, like, come on, Dan, you're gonna go do some more. And then it kind of just came to me. I was in one of my like other counseling sessions, and I came to the cognition. I was like, holy smokes! Like, I never allow myself that same grace. Yet I have the ability to, you know, let somebody have some grace. So why don't I have that myself? And when I came to that cognition, like everything changed. Like loads of like anxiety and stuff. I was just pent up, just sitting there, like, ooh, because I'd had this like hangover effect, right, of just not giving myself a break, which is a really interesting. It was a really interesting experience. So I'd highly recommend a lot of people to think about this. Just think about it, and it won't maybe won't happen right away, but the penny will drop. Like, you're allowed to give yourself some grace, and you're allowed to make mistakes. You're only human. Like again, you're
Yeah.
just having this human experience, right? And then you'll be gone one day. So just chill with it, man.
I really love that sentiment. I also love the fact that you said that you'll do all of this for other people, but you won't do it for yourself, right? So I usually ask my clients, I'm like, what you're saying to yourself, would you say that to a complete stranger? And all of them say no, they won't ever be that rude to a complete stranger, but you're saying that to yourself. So final thought for me would be in the same line as like, try and talk to yourself a little bit nicer, because it's the words and it's the narrative that we tell ourselves that we start believing. And that becomes our reality then, right? My brother is a director and a writer, and he was talking about this too. If we can just tell ourselves better stories,
Yeah.
you know, imagine are you going to want to listen to your own movie or your own book if you're constantly berating yourself, you know? So try to be a little bit nicer to yourself. That's, if there's anything that you can take from this, please, yeah, that's from my heart to yours. Just be nicer to yourself, please.
100%. And like if we don't, like, well, you know, where are we? And that's the thing, you know, if you're wanting to help people, if you're a person who's like, all right, I'm going to help loads of people, like, if you can't help yourself, you're buggered,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really important. Sorry, somebody says something about self chatter. So a friend of mine, Sarah, self chatter, it's an amazing process to talk back to the narrative and see what emerges. That's exactly right. You know, you kind of like self reflect. You kind of go in. Again, it's the premise of Buddhist koans, right? That's how I came to my cognition. I was asked koan, and then I was like, huh, you know, like what have you forgiven another to do to another? And I'm like, oh well. So it's really interesting. Anyway, on that note, thank you, Jerry. DNA test next episode. In the next episode, she
Very
called you
pretorious.
a whore, a hooker. She called you a hooker. No. Hello, Jerry,
You
man.
call my cousin a
Yeah.
hooker?
So what are you gonna do? We've given you alcohol and weapons. What are you gonna do? Like, it's
Oh,
so
that's
true.
such a good impression. Yes, you can be Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he die recently? Didn't
Did
he or
he?
something?
I didn't
I'm pretty
know.
sure he did.
Oh, I'm
And he was so
sorry.
cool, wasn't he? With his glasses.
Oh,
So she came in and Christina Lopez, like she came in and she told you what? Like he just stirred the pot, didn't he? He's great. Anyway, I don't know if
we grew up. That's how we grew up.
it is
I grew up with
honestly.
Jerry Springer.
I remember watching it and being like, wow, these people like they live like this. It was all like nonsense, right? But I thought it was all real.
I,
Like they come on and like beat each other up.
is it not?
Like, can't be real, dude. Like, nobody lives like that, right? It's like, it's like, it brings out a guest. Like, so here's Charlie. Charlie actually lives in a trailer, and he actually thinks he's Superman. He's like, that's right, God damn it, I think I'm Superman. And like,
His
he
name,
just, you
his
know what I
name
mean?
is
It's like,
Charlie.
yeah. But like, it's so weird, isn't it? Oh, that guy, remember that guy? Come on, he's like, number one rule about ninjas, you don't go ninja, people don't need ninja. That
Do you
guy,
remember?
Judy Chow.
Do you remember this morning we said we're gonna get all the weirdness out before the live chat? I don't think we spoke
Yeah,
enough this morning.
it didn't work. At least we didn't get into
It
the foot
didn't.
pics and selling underpants. So I think we're okay. We're quite clear there.
Okay, okay, all right. I think we need to cut it
Yeah.
now. Eh?
Anyway, right, Carla, it'd be really cool if if everyone could go follow Carla, the therapy.neurodivergent or therapist neurodivergent.
Therapy,
What's the actual handle?
therapy neurodivergent.
Therapy.neurodivergent.
Yeah,
And if you're interested in anything Carla has to offer, or maybe interested in booking kind of like a tester session with Carla, then you can just reach out to her on the DMs. I'm sure she'd send you the links. You can book a call. It'd be really awesome. Anybody watching this on YouTube, on the replay, I will link a 15-minute kind of like intro call with Carla down below. If you want to just click that link, and then you can go through and speak to her and see if you can, yeah. But I vouch for Carla, because actually Carla is my therapist, which is bizarre, funny, because like I'm interviewing you on here. But yeah, amazing. I don't know what I'd do without having Carla, actually. God.
thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Well, I love our sessions too. So, and I love this. Thank you so much. This was my first live. It wasn't as scary. Thank you,
Wow.
everyone, for all the hearts and everything and all the comments. I'll try and get to the comments and the messages if
You've
that's
got a
possible.
new hubby, Carla.
What?
Do you?
I don't know. No, I have no, no.
She's already she's already taken, man.
I've got the original one.
Yeah. Anyway, Carla, look, have a
Thank
fantastic
you.
night, and
Thank you, you too. Bye,
yeah, I'll speak
everyone.
to you
Thank you
soon.
so much.
Peace out, Carla boy. Guys, that was the awesome Carla Pretorius. She's a really good friend of mine, amazing person, and yeah, she's no sub. What are you talking about? Anyway, guys, listen, if you enjoyed this, please leave a comment. Let me know what your best part was and what you'd like to know more about these kind of things that we're doing, these live sessions, what kind of people you'd like me to interview, and if you've been enjoying them. I'd really like to know. Pop it in a comment down below here. If you're watching on the replays, also pop it in the comment on the channels that you're watching it on. You guys have been awesome. I've been Dan. I'll see you next Monday, I think. Maybe. I think so. But Alyssa's going to kick my ass if I get this wrong. Anyway, guys, see you later. Peace out. All right. Bye.